Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Book Theater. Jay here, along with Andrew. Um, we're doing Comic Book Club. Our first one is Gotham Academy, which is really cool because I love this book. If you guys know me at all, you know I love Gotham Academy. It's one of my favorite series of the last decade, honestly. And we're going to be discussing it. So this is the first trade. And as I said, I'm joined by Andrew. So Andrew, you want to introduce yourself, your channel, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm Legend Storm TV. My channel is Legend Storm TV, of course, and I'm just a big comic book fan. Talk about comic books, reviews, movies, stuff like that.
Cool. And as you can see, our Twitters are in our name also, so you can check them out. But let's get into this. Now every month um, we do this. It's going to be a new thing where it's really interacting with the Discord more this time. This iteration of it than the previous one. Every single month, the pool is going to be made from selections that people have suggested in the in the Discord. And I'm
Hmm.
going to get up the next one so we can actually check live what that is. As soon as I can remember what the what's the name is. All right, I got it up. We're gonna we select. I ask everybody nominate some books. Tell me what you guys want to read for the next month, and then within a week or so, I take all those selections, I throw them into the poll, and you guys can vote on it. So, yeah, that's I'll announce that at the end of this, which one won it this month. So stay tuned for that, and that will be our November one, and that will be for probably the last Friday in November. No, it won't be that last Friday. Probably the second to last Friday, just because the last Friday is actually my brother's birthday, so that will not work for me unless I do it on that Saturday or something. Maybe I'll do it that Saturday.
Yeah,
Um, but that's still Thanksgiving weekend. Maybe maybe the weekend before the week before that would be best, just
yeah,
because it is something that a lot of people are busy. They go away for Thanksgiving weekend, so I will try to probably do it the weekend before Thanksgiving. But yeah, let's get into this. So this is Gotham Academy. This book I was really torn on when this book first came out. I don't know if you remember when this book first came out and all that, but I remember
no,
I had such range of emotions with this book because when it was announced, I was like, "Oh, cool! We're gonna see Tim and Stephanie in school, blah blah blah." And then they were like, "Well, no, this is all new people that you never heard of before." And I was like, "Oh crap! This is gonna be full of crap. I'm not gonna enjoy this." And then I was like, just like, then they said it's gonna be mysterious and it's gonna be like, all kinds of this. I'm like, I like the sound of that, but I'm still cautious. And I read the first issue and I just fell in love with it right there and there. That first issue hooked me, and I am a Gotham Academy fan for life now. Like, I don't think I would care about anything else. So, did you remember when you first heard about this book? How did you first hear about the book and all that?
well, I only first heard about it when you brought it up
My
for
top
our
five.
selection. Yeah, and then you brought it up in September,
Oh, okay.
October when you put in your own selection for comic book club.
Well, no, actually, this was thrown in there as a PM. Someone PM'd me and said, "Why don't you put in
Oh,
Gotham Academy?" That's why I put that in. That wasn't something.
hmm,
Someone on Twitter PM'd me and said, "You like Gotham Academy? Why isn't that? Isn't that like a ghost story, the first book?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, if you want me to,
it
I'll
is
put that in." And
very
they said,
much a
"Yeah."
ghost
So
story.
that's the reason why I put that in there. It wasn't my selection. I
Yeah.
think I, I think I did select, but it was like something that someone else selected too. It was like the Batman, the the Batman Haunted Halloween or something like that. The one that came
Yeah.
out before Batman, the Long Halloween. It was like that first thing that they did together that started off the Long Halloween and all that. But yeah, so that's how you first heard of it.
Yeah, and when I first read the issue, I actually binge read the issue today. Um,
Oh, cool.
it, it was it was rather intriguing. It was a nice mystery story we can get into a little bit later in the show.
Yeah. Um, what I like about the honestly is there is the mystery element. It's almost that um Batman meets Scooby Doo type mystery type thing because you got the
Yeah.
Batman Gotham characters. This is that kind of setting, but the Detective Club is almost like the Scooby Gang. So we had this band of characters that I think are so unique in comic books and way ahead of their time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like we got Olive, who is the protagonist, but is also the antagonist at the same time
Yeah.
because I don't know how far you read on, but we see later on that she becomes like kind of the villain of her own story by the end of the second semester. The Gotham Academy second semester. Which, by the way, you can read all of Gotham Academy and Gotham Academy second semester on DC Universe if you have that. So if you get that, you can read it for over on there, and it's also available on like Comixology and all that stuff. So I definitely recommend people go and get it. But yeah, so you got her. There's that mystery about her. Why did she even break up with Kyle? I always want to call him Ryan for some reason. I've always done that from the very first time I read it. He just feels like a Ryan to me. I just keep wanting to call him Ryan.
He
But
looks like a Ryan.
he does. He just something about him. I want to call him Ryan. But it's Kyle. And why he's the sports guy, but it's not the typical sports, like, it's not football jock or the baseball jock or the basketball jock. It's the tennis jock. That's I
Yeah.
mean, that's not the sport that anybody really talks about, especially in school, but it fits with this group. And then you have Colton, who we later find out and throughout the series is actually LGBTQ character, and we have Palm, which I freaking love her. I think she's so sassy. Like she's
Yeah.
that's like the her and all right. I'm a huge Archie fan, but for me, Palm and I just said her name. What's her name? Main girl.
Veronica or
No,
Betty?
no, on in Gotham Academy.
Olive.
Yeah. They're like the new Archie. I mean, they're like the new Betty and Veronica for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way that they just clash, even though they're not rivals for boys, which I
Yeah.
like. I like that they're not a rival for a boy. They're just rivals because they're girls, and
Yeah.
they don't like each other. But they do like each other. They're like they're a new frenemy friendship type that's going on. And then we have my favorite character, probably one of my favorite characters in the last decade again, that I think DC has ever created, and that is Maps. She is the best character ever and so underutilized in the comics because other than Gotham Academy, I think one appearance outside of the book. I think she appeared in some Batman book for Robin with Damian, and she is so freaking full of life and everything. Like I just love Maps. I love her enthusiasm. Honestly, I was a little bit like Maps growing up. Like I loved the adventure clubs. Like me and my friends, we formed those clubs. So like I totally get how her mentality is. Like we would form those clubs and go on little stupid adventures that everybody thought was totally ridiculous, and they were like, "You, why are you doing that?" And we were like, "For fun. We know it's not real. We're just having fun." We were like 7-year-old kids. We were just having fun, but yeah, so I love the characters. What do you think about the characters?
Well, I thought the characters were very intriguing. Like from the very first issue, I I was intrigued all the story and and like how her red eyes and all that fit into the story, and then seeing how
Hmm.
the then seeing how her dynamic with Maps was, as well as seeing how her dynamic with Palm is. I mean, it those two dynamics are very very interesting to the story. Uh, like like I think in the beginning it was established that Maps was kind of to Olive. Am I correct?
She was she's Kyle's sister, and she's like the tag along, but she was also she wasn't there for orientation, so Olive was assigned her as the like to show her around the school. She was
Yeah.
I don't know what different schools call them different things.
In the
You
book,
know,
that they called her nanny, quote
yeah,
unquote.
yeah, that's what they call it in the book. Like again, different schools call different things. Some of them call it a chaperone. Some of them call them a big sister, a big brother. You know, all depends
Hmm.
on what your school calls them. But it's basically just an older um classman who looks out over a younger classman and shows them the
Yeah.
school around. Yeah, so she was a Hammerhead or Headmaster Hammer told them that. Because you think they're
Hmm.
getting in trouble for something when the book first starts, but it was just for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I really liked the aspect with I forget the guy's name. The, the guy who's like kind of like a lock picker. He's
That's
like the
Colton.
guy. Yeah,
That's
Colton.
Colton.
The
Yeah.
the guy
The guy
that
with
you
the
go.
shades.
Yeah, the guy you go to for everything on campus.
Yeah. I like him. As he develops, he's one of those characters who starts off one way, and then by the time you get to the end of it, he's a different type of character. You know?
Mm,
So I really like that aspect of him. I like that he grew so much from that very first issue until the last issue of the second semester. When you read the series and well the two series as a whole, you'll see, and I hope what people do with this book is after they read this first one, they at least go and check out the rest of them because it these characters get so much development that you don't see in comic books really lately. Because comic books usually stop and like everybody is stagnant a lot. A lot of comic book characters they're stuck in their molds and they can't break them. Like
yeah.
Kamala's always going to be the Kamala that we know her to be. As much as I love Kamala Khan, she's always going to be that same exact Miss Marvel character she's been from the beginning. Where I think all these characters really did evolve. Like I said, Colton started out as like almost a bit player. He was like a bit player in the
Yeah.
beginning. Um, and then he becomes more of a Styles type character for people who watch Teen Wolf. He's more of a Styles type character where he grows and he becomes more. And then again, we find out that he is LGBTQ. He has a crush on Kyle, and Kyle is just like he finds that out, and he's just like, that's cool. I don't feel the same, but you're still my bro. So I like
Hmm.
how they approached that. They approached it with sensitivity, but at the same time, it didn't overpower the story. It was just like he had a crush on him. He was like, that's cool, but I'm not like, I don't feel the same, but I
Yeah.
love you like a brother.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't really have much to say about Kyle other other than other than I found I kind of found it very interesting how his dynamic with Olive was because she's kind of like I don't she's kind of like she likes him, but she doesn't know if she really likes him or not. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
Olive and
reading.
her, they do have that will they, won't they get back together type thing.
Yeah.
So I do get that with them. Sometimes you feel like they're going to be this this couple, this super couple that their end game, and then at the same time sometimes they're really not that way. They don't get that, they don't have that response. So
Yeah.
you know, but by the end of it, I think like they become better friends. Like they're just like she even has a little romance in the book with the vampire, with the bat person, Tristan.
Man bad.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the boy bat, I guess you would call him, because
Yeah.
he's a teenager. So
Yeah.
the bat teen, Tristan, which totally a gothic romantic novel name, like Tristan. Like that's not a name that
Yeah.
and I love the names too. Palmline, just the names are so creative. Olive, Max, Kyle's basic, and he should be Ryan, but I digress. But Colton,
Colton.
like yeah, like they have some real cool names, and I think they did a great job developing these characters as a whole. And Kyle, I see where you say you don't really have much to say about him, because in this particular book, he doesn't have much to do. It's
Yeah.
later issues where he really becomes a part of the detective club that you see him do more and interact with them more. So it's more after this book, after this volume. After volume one, the first trade paperback, you get to see a lot more of Kyle, and we get to see more of him as a character than just, because right now he's just like, oh, the ex, or the brother, He's not a character of his own yet, and that really comes into play more.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say about the characters?
No, not really.
All right. So the mystery of this book is about the basically a Cobblepot, which is the
Yeah.
Penguin's family, Millie Cobblepot, the diary of her and the ghost of her, and they think that she's haunting the school. And Palmline's like from a family of just say occult type people.
Yeah.
Olive has her own family issues, which you'll find out later on down the line. Um, and you also have some connections to other stuff. But we find out that it's not really a ghost that's haunting the school. It's first it's Palm's boyfriend who's tricking people, and then we find out that it's also Killer Croc is there, and we also find out some other stuff throughout the series that really I think really shapes the school too, because the school I love this about any book when a setting becomes a character, whether it's the city or the school or the state, wherever you can have like if you can have a setting also be a character, I like that. And that's what this
Yeah.
book does. It takes the setting of Gotham Academy and makes Gotham Academy a living, breathing character for you.
Yeah.
Um, Go ahead.
I kind of find it interesting how the mystery is and like how it gets solved, and, and and then not just that, but the flashbacks that we get with Olive of her being in the building where everybody's like, "Oh, it's haunted," and it's like, no, she. The reason why it's so torn down is because you find out later on that she is the reason why it got that way. She has this power, this pyro power, like kind of set kind of comes out. It's kind of like a second part of her, kind of like with Phoenix and Marvel.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that, because the further you go into the series, you do find out more about these powers and why she
Mm-hmm.
has them and what they are. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to read it alone, but I'll just tell you, and everybody who's watching this, when you read this and you think you know what these powers are, you don't know what these powers are. and
Yeah.
that's what's great about it. It's a mystery about her throughout the whole series, both series, and by the time you get to the end of it, you have a completely different understanding of everything. And that's again a key part of this book is the complete different the growth of these characters is so much better than most books do nowadays, especially for a teen book. Teen books are normally, lighter and fluffier. They don't really have all those that stuff in it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I also like the aspect of how we get to see her mother and how her mother got put in where she is, and and, and like it's interesting because because the way that you look at it, she could eventually end up like her mother, and like Batman said, have to go there because it's the only place that can handle people like her.
Yeah, she had to go to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And again, you find out more about the mother throughout this series. Like everything that you get here is expanded on in future issues. Like
Hmm.
you'll see things growing, and then you'll see things going in different ways. You'll see different aspects of characters, different aspects of the mysteries. The teachers get involved in some of these mysteries. Like there's a lot going on in this series as a whole, and Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher did a terrific job doing that. I had to hand it to them. I did not expect to honestly like this book when they first announced. Well, when they told us what it was going to be about, because when they first announced it, I was going to love it because it was going to be Tim. I thought Tim and Stephanie, stuff like that. But once I found it, like once I gave this book a
Hmm.
read, I couldn't put it down. Like I wanted. This was always my. I think the lowest this ever made in my top five was like a 3, my third. Like that's the lowest it's ever
Hmm.
made it in my top five. Um, and that was I think when they changed up the art and they put in what's his name Adam something. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry. Um, but when they changed up the artist, that's when I was like, oh, I don't really feel this right now. But that's the only time I think I ever did it. I didn't like it when it got lower. Um,
Yeah.
I want to look to see what that. Um, let me see.
There was a guy named Carl
Carl Kerschel
Kerschel.
is that's the main artist. That's the one who's in this
Hmm.
book. He's the one who did this book.
There's
Um,
Babs Tar
Adam Archer.
Tar.
That's him.
Oh, Adam
Yeah,
Archer.
Babs Tarr. She does. I think she just did covers for it.
Hmm.
Some because Adam Archer was the other one, and his first issues I think was rocky, and that's why I didn't do it. That's why I didn't do it. Give him as high, but after he got into it, his was right on par with Carl Kerschel. But Carl Kerschel was like I mean, I'm in love with this artwork. Like so many pages of this, and that's the thing that I think we should discuss too. The art in here is something that you don't see in a lot of books. It it feels like an animation cell when you're looking at them. Like each page feels like an
Hmm.
animation cell. It doesn't feel like you're
Yeah.
looking at a comic book. It feels like you're looking at a animation cell. And I still implore DC, please, you got DC Universe, you got the upcoming HBO Max coming out, do a freaking Gotham Academy cartoon. Give me a Gotham Academy animated series. I'll even go for a CW type teen drama. If
Oh
you want to do
god.
that, I don't care. If you want to make it the next Riverdale, make it a little spooky, live action type thing, just
Hmm.
as long as you do it well, I'm down for that. But I would really love to see this as an animated series because it has so many elements that are perfect for it. Again, very Scooby Doo-ish. And for
Yeah.
me, I don't know about you, but for me, the best Scooby Doo's were the ones where it actually turned out to be real, like witches. What was it? The Witch's Curse. Scooby Doo and the
Oh
Witch's
yeah, the
Curse.
Scooby Doo and the Witch's Curse. It was like an actual. thing, I believe.
Yeah,
Like
I think that was
it,
it was
it
like
was an actual ghost, but it was somebody trying to like summon a ghost.
yeah, that and I think Zombie Island were the only two
Hmm.
that I could think of where it was like actually the monster was real, you know. They were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, this isn't fake," you know. And because normally
and
this
it's
is where
like
we
with
pull
the
out the rubber mask, you know.
yeah, and it's like with the monsters from I don't know if you've seen it, but the monsters from Scooby Doo 2, the monsters
Yeah.
Unleashed.
Yeah, I
It's
seen it.
actually it it's kind of like that because like they try and take the mask off and like oh crap. Either
Yeah.
that or that was the first one. Both of the Scooby Doo movies did that, where the monsters were actually real.
Yeah, and that's the ones I like the best when like because Scooby Doo's always been like oh we took off the mask and now they're fake. I always like the
Hmm.
ones where it was like this is the part where we normally take off the mask, but oh crap, these are real things. Like
Yeah, then
those are the ones I like the best, and that's what this book is like. It's like a Scooby Doo, but everything is like really happening. Even when the fake outs are real, like and that's something cool for me.
hmm
But yeah, I just down to like the way that they did the skirts, like for the I don't know why, but I'm fascinated with like the detail that he put into the skirts because it's just it's so different than what you see in comic books. Like when they do a plaid skirt or something, it's like normally so you
hmm
can say, oh, okay, that was very drawn. It looks different. I don't know how to describe it, but it just looks different. Like it looks again, it just looks so different, it looks so original, and that's what I love about it.
yeah.
All right, so we got the is there anything about the art that you want to point out? Like, what did you like about the art? What did you not like about it?
The art or the arc.
The art.
Um, I I kind of like the art in the book. It was very interesting. I liked the way that the artist kind of did certain scenes, like how he drew Killer Croc, for instance. Like I've never
Mhm.
seen Killer Croc drawn out like that before.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like normally I'm like very set in my ways with like visual. Like I
Hmm.
see Killer Croc, I want him to look a certain way. But here I was totally okay with it. Like I liked his interpretation of Killer Croc because it was a little bit again animated style,
Yeah,
but it still remained true to the character. And they even gave freaking Killer Croc a heartfelt story. Like, you feel for
yeah,
Killer Croc in this story,
for
which
real.
isn't something that you normally do. You don't normally feel for Killer Croc. I mean, you don't usually feel for someone whose name is Killer anything, or anything killer, Normally those are characters you don't have sympathy for. But they made me feel for Killer Croc in this. And it's just something that they do. Again, the panel breakdowns that he did, Car Kershaw, was great. It made the book flow differently than most books do. Um, and I will also just say like the general tone of the book is so cool. Like just when you combine the story and the art together, the tone of this book takes on something totally different. I don't think DC was ready for this book when it came out, and I don't think readers actually gave it a chance because I think a lot of people just said, "Oh, another Bat book," and a lot of people, and then the Bat fans were like, "Oh, this isn't Stephanie and you know and Tim, so I don't want to read it. This isn't my
Yeah,
Bat people." So you had two ways. You had the people who are in Bat fatigue and didn't want another Bat book, and then you had the people who are Batman fans who just wanted Batman characters in it. So
yeah.
I think it was that weird place where it was like you couldn't please either group. And it's a shame because this was a really great book. But
Yeah.
all right, how
And
about
then,
the? Go ahead.
then on top of that, I also liked how in the last book, in the sixth issue, uh, they have a cover in which we see it. The tagline is something like "Batman dead" or something like that, and like
Mhm.
it has Olive standing over Batman's knocked out body, and I'm like, what? Batman doesn't get knocked out,
Yeah,
especially by a little kid.
they did a lot of cool things with like the covers, especially like these covers. I would have to say these are again some really cool covers. Like the I forget which issue. I think it was 2 or 3 where you got the Olive engulfed in the flames. Like that is just a
Oh,
sweet cover.
yeah, it really is. I think it was
And
like issue 2, maybe.
I think it was. It was either 2 or 3. And then even like when you go to the book that the cover of the trade, which is also the cover of the first issue, the
Yeah.
very adventures in babysitting, climbing down the rope thing,
Hmm.
that was like a fun, cool cover. When I saw that cover in the solicitations, I was like, okay, you got me with that cover. I was like, before I read it, I was like, you got me with the cover. Okay, I'm intrigued by the cover. The covers were great. They were like eye catching. They really got you to pay attention to the book.
Yeah.
All right. You brought up about the arc of the story. So, what did you think about the arc of the story? Because again,
Well,
this is the ghost story of Millie Cobblepot, but it's also the first like introduction to Gotham Academy.
yeah. Yeah, I just felt like it was very interesting from the very beginning because as we discussed earlier, when we first see the kids, they're sat down outside the principal's office, and they're like, "Oh, we're in trouble," but they're really not. And then as we read ahead in the first issue, we find out that there's this kind of ghost character lurking around, and like I think issue 2 or 3, we see some people with some hoods on,
Hmm.
who we later find out is an occult group called the Order of the Bat.
Yeah,
And
you
then
you you get introduced to a lot of those type of characters, like little offshoots of characters that you're going to see in this series. And I seriously, sincerely do hope that you and anybody else who joined us for this selection really do go on and read the rest of the series because
mhm,
you will be intrigued by and drawn in by these characters and where they go. Again, when you see what you see in this first story arc, you see elements being planted that won't pay off until the final issue of the whole Gotham Academy series. Gotham Academy second semester, the last issue of that. Like there are things that are being planted in this very first issue that doesn't get paid off till the end of the second series, which I think is
mhm,
really cool because I like it when they think that far ahead. They actually they follow through with things.
yeah. And then we in I think issue 2 or yeah, in issue 2, we see Olive and Maps go in to the meeting room of the occult group, and and, and they're seen trying to summon the ghost of Mary Jane Cobblepot,
Yeah.
and this is very interesting, and like throughout the book, there's these things that are being planted, like we find out that the ghost was actually summoned, and it, then it turns out that ghost was actually Palm's boyfriend at the time, trying to trick her into thinking it, basically trying to get on her good side in a way, trying to make her think she's not completely crazy.
Yeah. He was trying to, make because again, Palm's really into this whole satanic stuff, cult stuff, and
Yeah.
he was just like trying to make it so she has a good time, doing her thing.
Hmm.
Um, and what's cool about that is that character, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, um, but he goes on to be a roadie for Black Canary in the comic books. So when Black Canary, I think she gets her own book or a mini series or something like that. He's her roadie. He's one of her roadies, which I think is pretty funny. We get a guy
Mm-hmm.
that really was recent, like only introduced sparingly, and then we
I
get
know,
to
like
see that.
he was into some band called Ashes on Sunday.
Yeah, but he winds up being a roadie for Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see his name. I can't remember his name right now, and I just did
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff. Yeah, that's his name. But yeah, I
Which that's a very interesting name
yes,
as
again,
well.
not a common name. I love that they didn't
Yeah.
go like, oh, this is Bruce and Michael and John. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
Heathcliff and Kyle and Colton. They didn't give you those stereotypical comic book names. Like you didn't get a Tony and a Steve. You got
They went
Colton.
very eccentric in a way.
Yeah, I like the way that they did it. They made everything about this book is so original and so
Mm-hmm.
fresh. That's why I'm
Yeah.
saying like it really is like ahead of its time. I honestly think that this book, if this book would have came out just a couple years later, I think it would have caught on so much more. But I think it was just ahead of its time, and I don't think DC put enough behind it either. Honestly, I will
Mm-hmm.
say that I think DC did not put enough behind this book.
Yeah. And then um, we later discover in issues 4, 5, and 6 that that the thing that's actually lurking around in the North Hall and is the reason why no one can go into the North Hall is actually Killer Croc, who's hiding out in the North Hall, which apparently in the summer semester, um, Olive had burnt down with her pyrokinesis powers,
Hmm.
and it was revealed like she wasn't even aware of it. She was kind of sleepwalking, and then she was taken back to the academy by Tristan, who was kind of watching over her.
Yeah,
It's kind of interesting to see that Tristan's kind of like this guardian angel type character for
and you'll see more of that why she didn't remember it and all that again
her. Mm-hmm.
by the end of the by the end of Gotham Academy second semester. You'll find out more on
Mm-hmm.
why she doesn't remember that.
Mm-hmm. And
It's so
then
it's so great how so many things are playing in this book.
yeah, and then we see how Killer Croc has this relationship with her mom, and she's like, "What? You have a relationship with my mom?" And I'm like, "This is intriguing because like even he is seeing he basically said, I see the same thing in you. I see her fire, and that right there is a key word for later on in the book. I think in issue 6 we actually see a flashback to her, and, and it's like she's walking up to her mother as she's using her pyrokinesis powers, and she's almost in tears, and her mom's trying to console her.
Yeah, you'll and again you see more of that. You see more of her of like of the school too. Again, the school becomes such a part of the story. Like the North Hall where you couldn't go into it, that became a part of the story. More of the Gotham Academy, like they explore Gotham Academy in the book. Like there's mysteries within Gotham Academy that are
Kind
get
of like a
explored, and it
MacGuffin,
even brings
if
in
you will.
Damien.
Kind of like
Hmm?
the Gotham Academy is kind of like a MacGuffin in a way,
Yeah,
or
it,
or something like that. I don't really know the technical term, but
um, it's I would say if you want to compare it to something, I would say compare it to maybe, and I have very little connection to this franchise, so I'm sorry if like people think I'm overstepping with this, but um, Harry Potter School, what's that?
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. because there's mysteries within Hogwarts, that like the kids
Yeah.
go on to find. So, like, you're a fan of Harry Potter, other than the magic aspect of it. This has a lot to do with like Harry. This
Yeah.
has a lot in common with Harry Potter because there's a
Which is
group of
why I
friends
actually,
exploring this school.
yeah, which is one of the big reasons why I liked the book when I first opened it up. I was like, this kind of is reminiscent of Harry Potter in a
Hmm.
way. And it, it is just very intriguing to me, and
Yeah,
I'm very interested to reading the rest of the series.
this is like a superhero comic book. uh, Well, I wouldn't even say superhero because there's no real superheroes in this.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of like the comic book version of a Harry Potter, but without the magic. Like there's no magic
Yeah.
in it. Like there's elements that are supernatural, but it's not, like, oh, she's a magician or a warlock or, a witch or anything like that. There's none of that stuff, but you do have supernatural elements in it. There's just no magicians in it. But it does have that Harry Potter feel, like, because the school is a character. You get to explore these characters as the students as well as their staff. So like the teaching staff becomes a part of the story, the school becomes a part of the story, and again, I just feel like it was really so much a part of like what Harry Potter has. And I think that's what DC should have sold it at. It's like, a Harry Potter for the Batman universe.
Yeah.
If you like Hogwarts and you like things that went on there, you will like this stuff because I think it's very much reminiscent of it.
Hmm. And I kind of like how Killer Croc had a very, very kind of somber story in a way.
Hmm.
Like he was wanting to get out, and like he knew about the connections with Arkham and the Academy. And then, like later on, we find out that um the connection to Arkham and the Academy is actually way deeper than we think because Cobblepot was put into Arkham Asylum, but it wasn't even Arkham Asylum at the time. It later on it's revealed that it's the girls' dorm at Gotham Academy.
Yeah, see, again, so many layers to the story, and
Hmm.
I said it. I felt for Killer Croc in the story. I was like, Killer Croc is humanized in here, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool, great story for him, and it's a great story for everyone involved. Um,
Hmm.
all right, anything else you want to bring up about this first installment of the series?
No, not really.
All right, so what would you give this book as a rating on 1 to 5 stars?
I have to say a 4.5. It was it was a very very good book, it, and and like I could not put it down. I could
Yeah,
not stop reading it. Like I was
of course
always
I
like, what's
couldn't.
going to happen next?
I actually, for this month, I not only read this twice because I read it in the very beginning of the month,
Hmm.
and then I read the whole run again, the whole Gotham Academy, and then I read Gotham Academy second semester again, which I loved revisiting them. I mean, this is definitely, I had the trades too here, but I actually read this on DC Universe just
Hmm.
because I had the app and I'm like, just let me utilize that, and it's better than chugging the books to work with me and reading on like break and stuff. I could just pull up my phone and read it. So I
Yeah.
I read it on the DC Universe app. But yeah, I just love this freaking series so much. I got every copy of every book that came out. So like if there was a second printing or something, I got them. I got all the different covers that came out for this book. I got the trade paperbacks for this book. I got them all because again, I honestly love this series. I want to
So you're going
support
to be
it
like
any way I could.
that. So you're going to be like that super fan that has every single issue that's like ever been
Oh, I
made.
definitely am. Uh, it's what I do. If I love a series, I want to see it succeed. I
Hmm.
will buy every variant that it comes out with. I do the same thing like for Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin and
Yeah.
Go Go. I do that with them because I want it to succeed, and it's books like this that really needs that support and that base support too. So yeah, I definitely love this book. I'm giving it 5 stars because to me it's just a phenomenal book, and I highly recommend people going and read it. And I think everybody who voted for this, because this actually had like I think like 65% of the votes or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
people really came out and voted for this after I shared it and, online. People really came out and voted for that. So I'm thankful for that because I
Mm-hmm.
really do love this series. Um, and we have the next one that we're going to be doing. So I'm looking at the poll right now, and let me see. Let me refresh this again so I make sure. Has anybody voted while we were talking? I want to make sure um, that these poll results are factual, because sometimes while you're
Mm-hmm.
talking and you're doing the show, people do go and they vote for it while you're
Yeah.
doing it. So I do want to make sure I got these. Yes. Okay. The votes are in, and the winner of this month, which is the November selection, is Crisis on Infinite Earths. So
Ooh, yes.
we're
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
doing that. Um,
a
and that
very
would be,
interesting book to read.
yeah, especially if you want to. This is a great month to do it because
Mm-hmm.
this early December is when the thing's coming out. You're getting
Yeah.
the first 3 episodes of it. So this would
Mm-hmm.
be right before that, so you could prep right before it instead of prepping after it.
Yeah.
Because if this would have made it to December, you probably would have been like, yeah, I already watched the show. Why would I want to read the book? But this is if you want to do some research on the
Yeah.
series before you get to it, check it out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if this is on DC
It
Universe or
is
not.
on DC Universe. It
Okay,
has I think all 12 issues on DC Universe
okay,
right now.
all
I
right.
I looked at it
I
today.
thought it was, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say that. And stay tuned to Comic Book Theater because there's going to be something else coming up. Because I had planned if this was I actually had planned for two different books. If two different books were picked, um, I would have something planned for both of them. I didn't have it for every one of the books, sorry, but I did have something planned for two of the books, and this is one of them. So when we do that book club, there will be something announced then about that,
Mm-hmm.
and also the following selection for December would be announced then too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So Andrew, what would you like to let everybody know what's coming up for you? Do you have anything coming up? Where can they find you at, and all that stuff?
Well, I don't really have anything coming up, but you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Legendstorm TV.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have a lot coming up
Mm-hmm.
lately because I'm going to do a review for the first three. Well, actually, it's like 2, 4, 7 episodes of Ghost Rider, but they're in part 1 and part 2, so it's like each episode is like 2 parts. So they got the first 7 up on Apple TV Plus now. Um, I'm a big fan of Ghost Rider from back in the day on PBS, so I wanted to give the show a shot, and I liked it. I'll give you that much. I'm going to try to get some reviews up for that. I'm going to have an article up on Stream Wars that is going to be informative and let you know where you can find everything and all that stuff. Um, of course, Monday night is the show's big Comic Fanatic live show where
Mm-hmm.
do a countdown of comic books, talk the news and all that stuff. I will be talking about HBO Max on there. We will be talking about uh, Spider Verse Into the Spider Verse 2 that's coming out, and a couple other things we're going to be talking about. So go over to Discord if you want us to talk about a news piece that you think should be on the hot topics. go to our Discord, because the Discord is the best way to do it. I want the news not to be just what I select and I think is interesting, but what everybody else feels is interesting. So that's why I open up the news to everybody to throw in there. You want me to talk about, you want whoever is going to be the co-host, which I'm not 100% sure who it is yet, but they say yeah, but I'm just waiting for them to get back to me on a clarification. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that, and there's a couple other things that I'm going to talk about. Also, I have the Power Rangers Wave 2 Lightning Collection and Mighty Morphin Black Armored Ranger, the Walgreens exclusive. That will be being reviewed soon. But also, I'm going to be reviewing, again, so all pictures of this on Discord. But I'm going to be reviewing this bad boy right here. I got the Lower Z throne and base. So cool. It's even cooler in person. And I'm going to, do a little tutorial on how to paint this, because, it's really nice, but it just needs to be painted. I have to sand it down, paint it, all that stuff. And I'm going to do a video, so that will be coming probably over the next couple of months. That's going to be a thing that I'm going to take my time with, because I gotta, I'm really going to look into, what sandpaper to use, what paint to use, find the right colors for it, because I want it to be as screen accurate as possible. And then I'm going to do a tutorial video on how to do it. So, and of course, there's going to be other stuff coming up. Harley Quinn, I'm going to be reviewing that series. And I'm going to try to do a couple more things. I'm planning on doing at least 3 videos, 3 little big screens for the DC TV shows. One after Black Lightning premieres, which I think is this month it premieres.
Yeah, I think Black Lightning.
Yeah, I think it premieres.
Yeah, I think Black Lightning. Well, it may have already premiered. I think.
Maybe it did. I thought it was in November, but
it premiered October 7th.
Okay. No, then there's one more that didn't premiere yet.
Legends of Tomorrow doesn't premiere until
Yeah, that doesn't premiere until January. But all right. Well, I'm gonna do one.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna do one for the There's gonna be one for the team up. I'm gonna do after the first 3. Then I'm gonna do one after the second 2 come out in January, and then I definitely gonna do one for the the season wrap up. So
yeah,
and it's gonna be other stuff. So stay tuned again to the Twitter, Comic Book Theater without the R, Comic Phanatic with the PH, not an F, and the Discord. All those links are in the comments below. Description below. Also, you can find Andrew's links in the description below. And until next month, we'll see you for another book club. Again, follow the Discord, the book club. You can talk about the book in it. It's on DC Universe. You could buy it also on Comixology. I know there's a new box set or a new collection coming out, a new hardcover coming out. So you could buy that also if you want. But yeah. So that's it for this. Goodbye, everybody. Until next month. Keep reading. Keep collecting. Keep entertaining yourselves. Bye.